game. It's Sweden against Austria, and there was a minute of silence.
Which side do you want, Tom? I take the left and take the. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back into next game of the day. It's Austria's men's team in white versus the Swedish men's team in blue. As some of you might have noticed, there were no national anthems here in this game. The Austrian men's national team sadly lost their longtime player, coach, and team leader from Vienna, Andreas Schneiderbauer, this year in early January. And so, in honor for him not being here at this tournament, instead of the hymns, the Swedish team has also agreed to a minute of silence instead of anthems, which we are very thankful for this. I think it's 6 games of the day. Yeah, and now we're gonna be back into the action. I'm here with the magnificent Manakoni Mano, whose name I've perfectly learned over the last 4 years for a very fun reason. Isn't it? Yeah.
No specific reason at all. I don't know if the clip is actually back on YouTube and still on YouTube, but yeah.
I think I've got it saved somewhere. Don't worry, we can still embarrass you later. Don't worry, mate.
Yeah, it was my introduction to the men's Australian national team back in 2019. But now we are heading off into the game. Sweden on the ball.
Straight into attack.
Moving into the half of the Austrians. Anton Sackström. And straight up into the basket. Having
very early attack. And Sweden scoring with their signature Mala technique already.
3 players underneath the basket, one immediately moving into a Möller, the defender not being able to be in place properly right away.
Oops, the replay is not the same replay, is it?
So rough start for the Austrian team here. Immediately getting scored on by the Swedes with their signature move.
All right, so we hear Austria's got the ball in the Swedish half, making their way towards the basket. Turning back, Swedish are pressing forward with their defense. Currently, the goal is 1-0 to Sweden after 30 seconds on the first game. We will update our overlay in just a second.
Yeah, Sweden regaining the ball and immediately initiating a counterattack directly into the half of the Austrians. Only the goalkeeper there in position, 2 Swedish players going for the basket immediately, 1 player positioning underneath, ball being pushed through,
and the second Möller has been
second
taken
Möller. So the defense for Austria sadly here not in place at all during those first few minutes of the game. And Sweden showing that they are highly competitive here as well during this national world championship. Certainly we're not the most content after the last World Cup, so here to improve on that.
Here we go again. Austria coming out strong, 3 players in the middle of the pool. Sweden giving them a strong stop right in the middle. Sweden back in ball possession, pressing forward. Swedish support coming from their basket.
Yeah, so we've seen here it's very rough for the little bit weaker teams, so-called, to gain possession in the middle of the pool against strong teams, playing very close to each other, playing very fast, having the ball circulating very quickly.
The Austrians pressing forward, Sweden holding quite a deep line out there.
Yeah, Sweden falling back now a little bit, just taking time, bringing in new players in back. We can see here players coming from the exchange bench, but now moving immediately to the Austrian goal.
3 players coming in from Sweden into the Austrian basket.
The ball we can see
loose again.
Oh, well done here by Thomas Christoph Popp here, getting the ball as the forward. Austria now trying to initiate a fast break here trying to get into the half. But there was there's a fin.
Referee call.
There was a fin dropped, so a player has lost his fin.
And giving the ball to Sweden, starting with a blue free throw.
Yeah, so Gregor Dershi lost his fin, swimming. It's a bit of bad luck. Would have been interesting to see if somebody plucked it off or not.
There's no video replays here, I believe. No video refs.
No video refs allowed in this championship. It is a rule to be discussed though during the next year and a half, to be implemented within the next zone championship, maybe European championship, to have teams use video proof if there should be an issue during a game, to have give the refs more of an option to give a fair ruling to teams. Because as you might know, it's very tough to see everything underwater. You have a three-dimensional playing field. Yeah, so Sweden.
We're back on the Austrian basket.
There was a lot of pushing there from number 10 onto the Austrian goalkeeper. I think it's Andreas Bergenholzen. It's Edvin Martensen. Sweden circling the Austrian basket.
Right. I think Austria is taking their defense a bit more seriously here. They're stuck with just forwards out there.
Yeah, you can see him signaling, come here, get the ball.
Calling from around the neck from the Swedish player. He's going to start with a white free throw from halfway for our Austrian team.
So Austria in ball possession in the middle of the pool. Free throws, always a bit of a tricky thing if you have teams that are a little bit disproportional in strength. So quite often a free throw, a bit of holding mate there, but Gregor there could get hold possession of the ball. Certainly one of the strongest, physically strongest players on the Austrian team. And it's always quite a bit tough for a little bit weaker teams to execute a free throw perfectly and keep in possession of the ball, because top teams are very well nuanced in stopping every possible way to pass forward, while as a weaker team you usually have to keep track of your defense. But now here
two Swedish players against the one Austrian.
Fast break.
Austrians managed to hold off the goalie on their own.
Well defended by the
Swedish
goalkeeper.
Still dominant on the basket. Coming through, basket's still been stolen by the Swedish player. The ball has been loose into the Austrian defender's hand.
Number 6 Gregor there is trying to pass to Janovic. Oh, that's a
push
very
it
risky
back out,
pass.
But the chaos is still continuing, and Austrian have managed to save their own basket.
Well done here by the defender and the forward, but a very risky pass, trying to get the ball out of the danger zone.
Austrians look like they're still playing safe. The ball's quite far away from the basket, but their defense is still cycling. I don't think they want another mishap like that again.
Yeah, and they don't want fast breaks. I think that it's very rough for some teams. You want to have a strong defense, but getting out of your own half is Möller here again.
Another position.
So very rough for some teams. Goalkeeper alone. Oh!
Goalkeeper was quick on the hands. Ball's been picked up by the Austrian. And there's a rough play call against Sweden. Ball will restart with a white free throw for the Austrians in the middle.
Yeah, so quite tough for some teams to keep your defense up, to be fast enough back at your own goal, whilst having enough players to push the game forward into the middle of the pool when the opposing team has a very strong forechecking. As we can see in Sweden, we saw with Germany, Denmark today. Teams using 4 players, using the entirety of the pool. You have about, let's say, 14 meters of the pool where you can use your forechecking efficiently if you're up to the task as your team. So very rough time here to get into the half of the other teams, but now Austria managing to push forward a little bit, trying to get into the corner, trying to force the Swedes back onto their own basket, but you can see them playing very openly, just the goalkeeper, so very confident in their forechecking to get back possession of the ball. Ooh, nice pass in a little bit forward, but yeah, Swedish forecheckers. Also a lot of very tall guys, very long arms, so very little space to move the ball efficiently. And we've seen it today, especially with the men, but also with the German female team, who is making space so extremely tight for their opponents that there's barely anything they can do to move forward. But now Austrian having a bit of a grip on the ball here during the last minute and a half. But Sweden, as soon as they grab the ball, passing it forward immediately, initiating a fast break. But well done by the last forecheck by the forward goalkeeper to stop that. Getting a hand in between.
Alright, the Swedish back in the half of the Austrians, moving the ball around. At the moment it's 2-0 for Sweden. They scored 2 goals pretty early on with their signature Mahler technique. They look like they've been playing a little bit more conservative now, a little bit further away from the basket. Austrians got a stronger defense set up as well. I think they're just looking for the holes to come on through.
Yeah, you can see them always creeping up behind the defender, and as soon as there's a little bit of an opening, they swim in between. Oh, no, very good scoring opportunity from the left side. For number 4, Andreas Bergenhaus for the Swedes, one of the most longest served veterans on the Swedish team. Ball back, falling on top, scrum to Austrians. Finding a little bit on the surface.
Quite a big strum in the surface at the moment.
Ball going a little
Ball
back and
still
forth.
being up and down in contention into the possession of the Swedish team. Swedish playing it back onto the surface, now underwater, looking for his support. Support well taken by the Austrian player.
So yeah, now people coming from behind, having a little bit of reinforcement here, helping each other out. So we can see a bit of difference between the teams, but here rough, bit of a inconsistent pass, but we think we had a roughing the player and holding we thought.
A holding call.
That's what I was
Ball
expecting.
will restart again for the Austrians. White free throw. The score is currently 2-0. We'll try and get our overlay back up.
Yeah, so it's Austria in white, Sweden in blue, and there's a free throw for Austria in the Swedish half.
Swedish playing still very aggressive, having only the goalie back on their basket. Pushing out, it's definitely paying off for them, having the more bodies in that scrum. Sweden with a fast break into the basket. Well stopped by the Austrian player, straight onto the basket.
Very good there, in position. But the ball moving to the left, dropping down. Well
picked up by
defended.
the Austrians.
Oh, doesn't.
Ball's loose again. There's a holding call.
Yeah, there's the holding call. Very obvious for the ref.
Alright. Again, white free throw for Austria.
Yeah,
At the moment, it is 2-0. 2-0 to Sweden.
Yeah. Chris Pop here trying to recover for the Austrians. A very young and new forward for the Austrian team. The Austrian team seeing quite a bit of a change from the last championship to this. A lot of players from the last championship not here anymore. A lot of newer, younger players here playing for the Austrians, but also the Swedes had a little bit of a shift in their team, but you can still see some of the old veterans.
Yeah. Some of the big guns are still here. Still very heavy. Here we go.
See single players
Swedes
trying to
coming through, nice, strong.
ball moving back and forth and around
straight
the basket.
Under the basket, dangerous territory. There's another player on the other side ready to go.
Oh, well
recovered by the Austrian player.
Well saved by the attacker here in the last moment. Austria now doing somewhat well, not wanting to curse him though, but getting back possession of the ball every now and then again, pushing into the Swedish half, trying to get a bit of ball cycling going. Sweden
pressing in again.
Lurking a bit more, waiting for opportunities, waiting maybe for a defender or attacker to be missing.
Defender. Here's
like we see here.
Fast break coming in from the basket.
And this is something the top teams have done over the last years more and more, is that they don't foreshadow their games as much as they did before, having a player waiting and lurking for nearly a minute, wait for a scoring opportunity, but crash onto a basket with 3 to 4 players. Now, so you see again Möller positioning and
position, trying to go through.
Oh, well defended here by Gregor Dersch, who's forcefully ripped the ball out. Well done by him. Möller very hard to defend if it's in place. Christopher Pop, long arms trying to get the ball out, but back in the hands of Swedes. On the basket now open for a short period of time. Defender back into position. Thomas Schenkeli in position for the men's team. Ball on the surface, still in possession of Sweden.
Sweden are doing very well to control this game and still put on a lot of
Oh,
pressure.
very well done by
Good
the
offload.
forward.
Another
can shove the
straight
ball to the other side.
Well done.
Well defended
Well
by
picked
the
up by the
Fuchs.
Austrian.
Oh,
Good counter attack
blind spot, yeah, but holding penalty here for
against Sweden.
against
again
Sweden, for Austria. Ball possession in the middle of the pool. Yeah, so the game is still 2-0 to 0 for the Swedes. Sweden in blue, Austria in white. We're still working all the way. We'll bring it back as soon as we can. Our tag team here doing their best to keep it all up and stable.
Yeah, big shout out to Atlantis. Those boys here have been working very hard in the last few days to get all these cameras together.
So there seems to be a timeout, I would guess, by the blue, by the Austrian team.
Timeout for the white. Austria have called themselves a timeout.
Yeah, so teams recuperating a bit, maybe taking the time out to catch a little bit of a breath after a very strong defense for a couple of minutes. We can see players exchanging here on the Austrian side, so bringing new players in. Sadly know that one Austrian player had his eardrum ruptured during the test games on the first day, so
I did see that.
they had one man down immediately. Bit of a rough start for the team. And we can also see Jan Kindermann here not being in the pool for this game today, also usually one of the strongest players for the Austrian team over the last years. A little bit of health issues as well.
Here we are, we're restarting on a white free throw for Austria. Sweden currently up 2-0.
So Austrian ball possession, could execute the free throw. Not
Austria's
trying.
got some swimming space. That's it.
Trying to
So
get in.
into the scrum. Sweden's got their full defense on the basket at the moment. Austria has one of their first chances on the basket, pushing in through strong, getting wrapped, good offload, and taken by the Swedish player.
Yeah, so it's a very difficult trade-off for a little bit of the weaker teams if they manage to get into the half of their opponent's team. Do you keep the ball circling to have ball possession to be less on defense, or do you take every scoring opportunity you get, knowing that you very easily risk to get a fast break on you against strong teams with good swimmers?
Here we go. Swedish coming through.
Oh, very strong effort here.
Ball coming through.
Andreas Bergenholzen with the solo initiative on number 5, winning Ante Sackström. Basket is
been
covered.
stolen.
Won't
Basket's been pushed off.
Goalkeeper is now back in position.
Apologise for the camera, guys. We're not the ones controlling that one.
So yeah, there's, for those who don't know, there's not a camera guy in the middle. We have a little bit of a camera sled.
Alright, as we can see, Sweden stolen the front of the basket again. Balls are moving around. Ball still in play. Marla position stolen. Straight into their hands with the knee. Cycles back down.
Muller, in my opinion, always a little bit of a tricky play, because you keep your foot up and your heel and your knee up, and you push maybe a little bit early, maybe a little bit late. So it's a bit of a back and forth rule-wise between, let's say, German and Northern ruling, how you want to handle it. But the referees have to have a close eye on it so that the player doesn't push without the ball. But now a nice pass onto the other side, can attack the goalkeeper from underneath. But well done by the goalie, pushing off Akkuschat and Matthias Neundorf exchanging, doing a very good job, ripping the ball out.
Ball's collected by the open
But
basket.
Sweden again in
Sweden
possession.
didn't see
Fast
it.
break here to the
Coming
goal.
back through.
Forwards doing their best, trying to bring the ball back into Austrian possession. Now Sweden getting the chances on the Austrian basket, but surely can't take them as much by surprise as they did during the first couple of minutes of the game.
Alright. Sweden in the possession of the ball in their own half. The counter attack comes. Austrians dropping back. They still have a few players back on the other side. Sweden comes strong. Austrian basket's open.
Yeah.
Ball's loose in the middle.
Nice attack on the forward, but
Passing straight back to the Swedish.
oh no, defender
Another
not in
collection.
place. Ooh,
Well
the
done by
goalkeeper
the
moving.
Austrian. Dropped in early.
Goalkeeper
Good
moved
stop.
off the basket.
And
Ah,
ball's
yeah.
in the basket by the Swedes.
And Eric King pushing. Goalkeeper leaving his position, thinking he needs to get off the basket there. Defender was actually in place to support him, thus opening a spot for the Swede, who was heavily pushing in, not letting the goalkeeper back onto the basket. And the 3-0 for the Swedes against Austria here. I think it's the sixth match of the day. Sweden in blue, Austria in white. 3-0 for Sweden so far.
Austrians loose. Good strong counter. It's a 2-on-2 at the moment. Austrian
Shankly,
capitulated.
captain.
Oh, Austrians pulled out,
didn't
missed the
see the ball.
pass.
Christopher Pop
Ball's
trying to recover
loose
his
just in front of it. Austria have a good opportunity here. And everything's back into reset.
Yes, it's one of the key differences between a lot of the highest top contenders and the teams playing for the... Oh, okay.
Is it
Might
call
be
on the
halftime.
surface?
Surface ref. Yeah, it appears to be halftime. Yeah.
It is halftime.
So, halftime, Austria versus Sweden. First game for Austria, first game for Sweden here in this World Championship. 3-0 for Sweden, two very fast goals from Sweden within the first 2 minutes of the game, using their signature Merla move right away to score on the Austrians. Austria then recovered a little bit, I would say, had their defense better in place.
Tightened up their defense, held it down. Definitely putting the back position into back position more.
Yeah. Pushing their backs further to the basket, not allowing the Swedes to steal the basket away quite as often. The Swedes also had some pushing fouls against them, so they need to be a little bit more cautious so not to lose the ball in the opponent's half.
Yeah, there's a fair few free throws going on in this game compared to the other games so far we've seen.
Yeah, we can see heavy breathing here. Refs making sure that all the equipment is in place and it's correct and there's nothing rough or stiff or sharp, no sharp edges coming out. Doing their job well. National team for Sweden, as far as I've seen, some older veterans coming in from the last championship, but also a lot of new names that we haven't heard that much of during the last years. So a bit of an X factor here on the Swedish team. I was seeing here now Falk apparently exchanging for the second half, subbing out. He's one of the vets, playing a lot of championships, played in the EuroLeague as well. Rather well-known player.
It's interesting to see the Swedish uniform design. They've gone with a numberless cap.
Numbers not necessary anymore on the caps, since the shirts are now obligatory for zone championship and international championships. Though for the refs, quite a bit of help to have them still on the side, and for us on the stream as well. A little bit of shout out to everybody who's got their numbers on the fins, because this is the best way.
Makes it so much easier, doesn't it?
This is the best way for us commentators to identify you. So if you have your family and friends watching at home, and if they want to hear your name being screamed out on the stream for doing something extremely amazing, hopefully then put your numbers on your fins and you'll get that shout out if you have the time in between. So yeah, the score 3-0
Sweden in blue, Austria in white. 6th game of the day. Here from Group B. So halftime break at the moment.
It'll be interesting to see if the Swedish come out just as strong as before, or are they going to change it up a little bit, give a different way of playing.
Yeah, pretty certain Austria will have a bit more of back defense focus during the beginning of the second half, not having a fast break hit onto them. Especially in those long, deep pools, it's very, very risky to leave your backs too far forward, because if somebody's coming with full sprint and getting a ball, you barely have any chance to recover from that. Have your goalkeeper and defender in place at the right point in time. So there's a very hard trade-off between how many people do you want to have forward, how many people do you want to have in the middle of the pool to play forechecking, to keep the game in the middle of the pool, have players available to recover the ball, not being pushed in your own defense, while being safe against the fast break, against the counter-attack. We've seen so far today a lot of stronger teams having 4 players forward at all points in time. We've seen the Germans even use their defender be diving down a bit further in the pool to stop the play a bit about around the 1/3 mark in front of their own goal. So very different strategies applied here throughout this championship, and now I think we're getting into the last seconds of the halftime breaks. Teams getting ready here to begin the second half.
And with these two teams, these two teams are probably the least experienced in the biggest pools. I don't think Sweden have many pools.
I'm
this
not entirely
size as
sure
well,
about
they were
Sweden. For Austria, it's a bit of a mix. We have some deep pools to practice in, but mostly during the summer times, because they're mostly outdoor pools.
Right.
So throughout May and June, there were opportunities to practice in bigger pools. But their training, especially in Vienna, is usually switched up throughout 3 separate pools. So we're going to circle throughout the week. And so yeah, during the winter time, it's usually practicing a little bit of smaller pools. I think Sweden does also have some smaller pools as well. All right. Second half commencing. Sweden in possession of the ball.
Free throw called.
Refs
to make a decision.
All right, free throw
So
for Sweden.
Free throw for Sweden.
Yeah, Austria putting the defense in position, but
Don't want to lose that position early, do they?
then having player move forward. Matthias Neunthoffel, number 47, always one of the vets for Austria.
Here he goes.
He played 4 championships himself, 4 world championships himself by now.
Sweden
Sweden
coming
moving in.
strong, straight for the head.
Oh, yet again,
Marla position taken.
no goalkeeper on the basket, but they're trying to lock up the
There was
basket.
a ref call.
Yeah.
It was attacking the mask from the referee. Referee call attacking the mask. And we are now on an Austrian free throw.
So the second half starting off a bit slower. I mean, Sweden also subbed out some of the vet players. Austria also subbed during the first half. 3-0 for Sweden at this point in time. So Sweden mainly in possession of the ball, but certainly not over this game. So anything can happen at this point still. But we've seen Sweden being very much a dominant team in this game, having way more scoring opportunities than the Austrians. Austrians rather struggling to get into the half of the Swedes, as we see yet again, trying to keep possession of the ball.
Out.
That was
It's a
very
1-on-2 at the moment. Now it's a time of 2-on-2. The defender was out of position there.
oh,
Ball
no, yeah.
was lifted up and put in the basket.
No forward there. No forward there to keep the player off the back of the goalkeeper. And a couple of ways to defend that is that you could have the defender put his arms around the belly of the goalkeeper and pull him down to give him a little bit more of an edge. Risky for the forwards, especially to attack the player who is lifting their goalkeeper, because they might assist them actually in pulling him up. So you have to be very specific to go for the ball and not for the body in this type of attack. And as soon as a player has a grip around the goalkeeper, it's pretty much 5 before 12.
There you go, ball's loose.
Ball.
Austria's missed it. Picked up by the Swedes. Ball's coming around. Blind pass back into Swedish hands.
Sweden apparently listening to Symphony of Destruction in the chat.
Here we go.
To be fair, we've seen a bit more of destruction this day already.
Yes.
So not quite the 20-0 blowouts we've seen already so far, but yeah, Sweden here definitely in the commanding position, but Austria doing very well defending here, doing a valiant job. Sweden really needs to create their opportunities, having some fast breaks.
So controlling the ball in the Austrian corner, on top of their basket. The cycling's happening. Here we come. Swedish offense is getting set up.
Yeah, there.
There we are. There's a hole where the goalie is swapping. Ball's loose back over the top. Swedish into a reset.
We've seen one Swede draw the Austrian forward to the other side and then passing it back into 3 players of the Swedish team on the left, so creating an opening. But defense now back in place. Grabbing a leg, trying to move underneath.
Swedish putting it through. They've got someone
very
on the
well
other side
done
of
here by the Swedish attacker, placing the ball in another position for the attacker. Goalkeeper back again in position.
Well pushed off. Straight back onto it. Sweden becoming relentless with their attacks.
Sweden now
giving Austria a break.
Unleashing wave after wave, trying to crack the Austrian defense here. Seem to get a little bit of nerve. They want to break through, but the Austrians have a little bit of an edge in the last moment. Putting up a good fight.
Ball still cycling in the corner.
Ooh, nice effort here by the Austrian forward. Nearly getting a hold of the ball. It's very rough for 2 forwards to play against 4 players in a pool this size. So we've seen different strategies from Germany and from Denmark. Denmark playing very far back with the forwards near their own basket, drawing the players in, which saves them a lot of energy to be fair, but also leaves the opposing teams a lot of space open around the basket to play around. But usually you need your defender and your goalkeeper who's exchanging to push out a little bit. Oh, Sweden will break in again.
Straight over the top. Is it going to offload, going to come through?
Oh, nearly in. There was a little bit of a hole. He tried to push it through. Goalkeeper exchanged.
Saved by the forward, I believe, that came over the top. Good call.
It's Andreas Pell who smashed himself in between goalkeeper, goal and the attacker.
Ball's dropped right above the Austrian basket again. The Swedes pulling back out to reset.
Yeah, we see Austrian forwards quite far away from their own goal, trying to get a hold of the ball. And Sweden trying to outpass them. Oh, actually losing the ball here. Austria getting hold of the ball.
Back and forward to each other at the surface.
Oh, defender
down into the Swedish hands.
Defender
no Swedish
not
support
being
at
there.
the moment.
Yeah, defender not being there fast enough. And this is quite a bit of the roughest path, quite a bit of the roughest moments for a defender or goalkeeper. When you see your players getting the ball, you have to push out. You've been there on the bottom for quite some time, but you have to get there. You have to push out. Give your team a little bit of an edge for a fast break, giving those passing opportunities for 1-2 players to exchange and get forward into opponent's half. Sweden now back again on the Austrian basket, but forwards in between goal and Sweden's players, but again trying to get a hold of the goalkeeper. You can see the long arms of the Swede trying to get past the defender.
Strong leverage from them. But you could see the biggest difference, I think, between Montreal and Graz so far is that even the dominant teams over here, balls around the rim, even the dominant teams you can see are still, it might also be the pool, but they're buoying quite far back.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of teams that are dominating the offense are not creeping forward. We saw it before with Colombia. They still had players all the way back, making sure that none of our players could push forward. There's it, hand on the head. There was no friend on the other side.
Cleared by Stefan Nuncic though, passing forward.
Here we go.
Yeah,
Austrians just want to break. They're going up to the surface. They needed that space down along the bottom there. And here we go. Subs coming through. Austrians coming into the Swedish half, trying to just make it through that wall of blue.
Out to Fuchs helping out, but a little bit of holding here for both guys.
Ball still loose.
Well done.
Straight back into the chaos. Swedes with the ball, swimming it back through now.
Trying to go for a fast break here onto the Austrian goal. Oh, being picked off by Matthias Nantov, the
Well
goalkeeper
done.
coming from back. But then again,
Done.
from the other side, Sweden, Gustav Kavelin. It's a bit of a handoff between the both of them, back and forth, but goalkeeper coming from the back might be quite a bit out of breath at this point in time. Might
It's
go out
just
on the exchange.
just
Yeah.
a big pool that no one really wants to be doing these swims. Here we go, Austria doing the break. Straight
Yeah.
up, past the partner. The Austrian's on his own. Sweden's dropping in real quick.
Rosenkrantz moving forward for Austria.
Support's coming a bit late. Austrian still has possession of the ball. You can see the Austrians are tired. They're only coming in one at a time at the moment. It's a rough game for these guys, but they're doing well to hold their defense. Swimming back. These players were just in the play and now they're back on the basket.
Yeah, but also Sweden missing more and more players. So, very open space there for
basket's
Sweden.
open.
Can he get in between?
Oh, well
I punched
caught.
it onto the
Very
goalkeeper.
well caught. The
What a save.
goalkeeper had his hands in the right position there, I believe.
Oh, yet again, open
Basket's
basket.
open again.
Can he go for the fast break? Oh, it's a
Fast
1-on-1.
break's coming through.
Yeah. This one is.
Straight over the top.
Oh, he blocked
Missed
it.
We hear Sweden got a strong push. And
Oh.
into the basket. Upside down with a dunk.
Yeah, with the dunk from underneath into the little bit of. Yeah, he kind of pushed it through on the neck.
Yeah.
Just very tight open space. Takes a lot of force actually to just ram the ball through there.
It's a hard maneuver to pull off. You don't really have that leverage.
So it's 5-0 for Sweden here against Austria. Second half of the game. As much as you were not quite sure what the time on, on this halftime is, but I think we should be approaching.
There you go. There's a white timeout at the moment, 32 seconds to go. 7 minutes and a half left of this game. And the score is 4-0. I believe it's 5-0 now.
Yeah,
I
it should be
think.
5-0. It should be 5-0 now.
The scoreboard up there hasn't been updated yet either.
Yeah, so timeout for Austria. Yeah, and Kinderman giving a bit of pep talk to his guys. I mean, as far as the second half is concerned, they're doing a pretty good job keeping the Swedes off. Sweden trying to punch through, using some of their tough big guys to just forcefully remove everybody around the basket as best as they can.
The Swedes are definitely getting tired. They're losing more and more.
Yeah.
The Swede tactic of the overwhelming wall that they put in 4 at a time is so effective, but
it's rough for the
it's
teams.
rough on the team.
It's a lot of effort for the team, stamina-wise and physically, to have 4 players down at the bottom of the pool for an attack on the opposite side. You can't exchange the times. It's very long time swimming back and forth, so you have to stay on the attack if you're on the attack. Austria back in possession. Sweden immediately going for them. A little bit of passing left and right.
It's a good break for Austria.
Akoshatna going forward.
Here we go. One versus two. His friends here.
Oh.
The forwards coming back on top.
Trying to
scramble.
Trying the Swedish tactic to ram back in.
Austria got a good chance here.
Chris Pop.
He's looking for someone to help him. There needs to be someone else here.
Yes, missing
Playing it
players.
safe.
Nobody there to help him get in.
Here we go. They're still giving a strong push.
Yeah, certainly the timeout is giving them a little bit of breathing room to catch a bit of
energy
breath.
to get back, yeah.
Also having a little bit of fun playing offense. It's not fun playing defense an entire game. Certainly don't want to play defense for 30 minutes straight.
Maybe it was the Swedish plan, the Austrian plan to make him swim the whole length of the pool underwater.
Dropping
There's
the ball.
offload. Good catch by the goalie. Well done. Very well done.
That was a risky but a ballsy move to pick up the ball there. Well done.
That's all you need to do though, don't
Yeah.
you? When you're 1 on 3, you gotta do what you can.
You know, he's not trying to get hold of the ball.
Austrians fighting each other just there.
Martek.
Now moving through.
Yeah, we can see teams struggling to have more than 2 players on the water at times.
back on the Austrian basket, and another goal has been scored.
We're approaching the last minutes of the game. It's now 6-0.
With 5 minutes 20 left of this game to go. Alright, Austrian remaining trying to hold possession in the middle of the pool. They've got it loose to their own player.
Oh,
and stolen by the Swedes over here.
Yeah,
Ball's loose again, coming straight through.
Sweden,
Austrian a little bit slow on that defense.
Sweden using the blind spots for the Austrians, pick it past them, position
Mala
them into Mala position.
taken.
But the forwards doing a far good job, just trying to get them off. Do not let the ball get to the guy underneath the goal if it's in Möller position. This is #1 key to defend the Möller. Don't let the
lose
guy
the position in the first place, right? But somehow they do it. These guys do it, and they do it well. Here we come.
Again.
The Swedish getting ready to do their setup.
Yeah. That's the risk of a team. If you have to push out, you have your defender pushing out into the open field, trying to help your team. Those are the moments when a defense is missing a defender for a second or two, and there's a player waiting.
Ball's loose, coming back through again. Sweden not giving Austria a single rest. Here we are. Straight for the head.
Strong push
Missed.
there.
Goalie's off the basket though. Trying to do a sneaky ball in.
Oh,
The chaos over the basket.
Goal is in the hands.
Still holding it.
Off the forward. Oh!
And it was an unlucky drop into the Swedish player from the Austrian hands.
I think he even tried to pass it, and the Swedish player pushed it in the direction of his own player.
Here we go. You could see it, regretting his mistake straight away.
Yeah. So it's 7-0 for Sweden in this match. 6th game of the day. Austria in white, Sweden in blue. Joel Forsberg fan club signing in into the chat.
Here we go. Austrian trying to hold possession.
Yeah, recovering the ball, but they have to hold on to for a little bit longer. And then they have
you need your support to get that ball out.
Yeah, those first
big strong scrum.
First
you see it every time the Swedes touch that ball. The first thing they look at is that goal. They're hungry still. See how many more they can sink on them before this end of this game.
A little sneaky dab
there. Got control there. Trying to offload. They've got their player there as well.
Oh.
Ball's loose again, picked up by the Swedish player.
And it's those mistakes that cost you so much when you actually have players down there and they're in position, but they wait a little bit too long, or they're reacting a little bit slow, or the opponent does get a little bit of a finger or a hand in between the ball and your player, and then you're losing them. Those are the mistakes that hurt the most.
Does. Here we go. Straight on. You can see the setup. There's still 3 blue shirts back there.
Second time we tried the same play. Just punching the ball in. There's recovering for the Austrian defender.
Well caught by the Austrians. Here's the fast break. Can he offload to his friends? There it is. Coming down. He's looking for his support underneath him. That's it.
He's not.
And he's swam it out of play. When you get that tired, you know, every direction looks the same.
It's also difficult because there's no marker on the bottom of the pool, so a team already mentioned that if you're just looking down, you don't really have an indicator how far out you are.
That's true as well, yeah, isn't it?
So don't play on the side of the pool.
Yeah.
Very simple.
Close side all the time, right?
Cross-sided defend, where there's a wall, there can't be enemies.
Exactly. Here we go. Arced around, pulled that forward out, well done. 3 Swedes under that basket.
Oh yeah, taking up a lot of space. Defender can somehow
Defender
snuck
got the hand
himself
on
in
the,
there.
Oh, straight around that neck there.
Oh, the pass backwards, that was risky.
It's always a risky pass. Still another one.
Swim.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Alright.
goalkeeper
Pass
going
has been
up.
covered.
Doesn't have a passing station there. Oh, ball dropping
Good.
down.
Collected by the Austrian. Austrian need to get their defense back in cycle. The 3 Swedes are really overpowering the 1 Austrian.
Yeah, they're getting the ball from time to time. They try to move on. They get close to the middle, but then they're missing players.
Yeah.
Players are subbing. They're fast break.
Here we go.
Oh,
Good
Tomaszek
swim.
actually
Keep
trying
going.
for the
Keep
1-on-1,
going. You can do it, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you have that much pull. When they have that much pull,
Yeah.
it's never a good decision, is it?
It's very tough for teams who want to go for fast breaks. But
Here we
Austria's
go.
still on
Austria's
the
still
Swedish goal.
pulling strong.
Sweden, as soon as they get possession of the ball, Sackstrom forward to
Sweden
Bergenholz.
got a
Oh,
fast break. Can Austria make it? Austria's defender got in there in time.
the goalkeeper.
Well done.
Defender kind of saved the goalkeeper, stay here a little bit, but 2 players underneath the goal. Male position, yeah,
And
the goalkeeper is off. And there's the 8-0 for the Swedish team here against Austria. I think they go for double digits.
Digits. We have
17
17 seconds left of this game.
So they are not.
I'll be very impressed if Sweden can get their double digits in now.
But yeah, we can see always stretches of about 1 or 2 minutes, 3 minutes, where teams are defending. Austria's getting a little bit of a break, getting to the
Yeah.
middle, but it's usually those last centimeters that are missing for the team. The players not being in position properly, an opponent getting a hand or finger in between players, so they have to move closer together, creating those passing opportunities. And now it's the end of the game. It's 8-0 for Sweden here in black versus Austria in white. First game for both teams here in this 2023 World Championship. I was here with Manakon Yamano. I'm going to repeat his name as often as I can because now I can pronounce it. Thanks very much for dropping by, helping
No
us out here
worries.
in the streaming booth, doing a very
Hopefully
good
we'll be
job.
back sometime as well.
Yeah, hopefully.
It's always a bit of fun.
We're going to see you tomorrow in your games. Up first against the Canadians.
Against the Canadians. I'll be looking out for Felipe. I know where he is now. But I'll be definitely going for him. Don't tell him.
All right, so we're going to have a little bit of a break here right now, a couple of minutes.
Alright, and then we'll be
And
back
then
with,
we'll be back with the Norwegian women versus Spain.
Norway versus Spain.
So, looking forward to the next game. And I think we might have somebody in the interview booth coming up. That's it from us. See you next game.
See you next game.
Yep.
Okay, so hi, could you give us please your name and your position?
Yeah, my name is Joel Forsberg and I play.
Is it
No, my first World Cup was in Graz, 2019. Yeah, it was nice.
what about this one? How do you find it by now? Like the pool, the everything organization?
Yeah, it was good. The pool is quite big though. We're used to a bit smaller pools back home.
Oh yeah, I figure like is it this big, like 20 meters?
I mean, we have some big pools in Sweden as well, but usually we don't we don't use them. We have smaller, maybe 14, 16 meters, but I mean, you get used to it.
I mean, like I imagine it's like a little bit of a strain, the stamina.
Yeah. Yeah, but the hardest thing is like the timing. When you think like, oh, I'm supposed to be there now, but I have 1 meter left to go because it's deeper and longer than usual.
Oh yeah, okay, makes sense.
I mean, you're one second late pretty often. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Your next game is tomorrow, I think, against Norway.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. We usually are pretty close with Norway, so it's gonna be tough. They are strong swimmers, but so are we. It's gonna be a fun game.
True.
Yeah.
That's true. And what are you?
I mean, we're aiming for a medal, of course.
Yeah, for the nice thing.
Yeah. I think we came in 5th place in 2019, so time to get on the podium again.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Thank you.